Welcome back to Earstravagant Adventures. I'm your host, Rachel, alongside Katie.
Hi.
Here to whisk you away on another thrilling journey through the magical realms of Disney, Universal, and beyond with Disneyland's 70th anniversary happening very soon. We decided to be a great time to talk about the on-site resorts at Disneyland Resort. Yay! Yeah. But first, thank you to our sponsor, Alonzi Travel, the ultimate family theme park experts. Planning theme park trips can be overwhelming, but Alonzi Travel is here to make it stress-free. With their years of experience, they're your lightning lane to hassle-free travel. They handle all the details, allowing you to focus on having fun with your loved ones. Whether you dream of Hogwarts or Disneyland, they've got it covered, tailoring the trip to your family's needs. Visit alonzi-travel.com/take the trip for a magical adventure.
Yeah. Woo, 70th.
Yeah, 70th. We love Disneyland. We're very excited for the 70th. A lot of details have already been announced, like when Paint the Night will debut. We already have dates for Oogie Boogie Bash.
I love that they gave us the full calendar in advance. Like, that is so nice, so considerate of Disneyland to provide that.
Very demure, very mindful.
It's definitely helpful.
And I also like that they said the 70th offerings will be paused during the holidays and Halloween. So that way, you know well in advance that if you want to go for 70th specific things, to not plan or to plan an additional trip because it's not going to happen during the Halloween and holidays.
Yep, that's nice.
But where are you going to stay when you go to Disneyland? That is the biggest question we get asked the most.
I know where I would stay.
I know where I would stay.
Yeah. I think it's the same answer, but let's get into it. Let's talk about all the options.
I feel like it's not going to be the same because that's just how we are, but let's find out.
Maybe we'll see.
So tell us how many hotels are there and which ones they are?
There are only 3 on-site resort hotel properties at Disneyland, which is very different than Walt Disney World. So there are only 3 options. We have the Disneyland Hotel, which is the classic, iconic Disneyland Hotel. Pixar Place Hotel, which just had a massive retheming from Paradise Pier to Pixar Place. And the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa.
Yes. And a little bit of tea. They were going to build, back in like 2017, they announced that they were going to run Disney race events because they were going to build a new hotel at that parking area. So they had to stop Run Disney so they could build the hotel. And then the city of Anaheim decided to be a real turd face and not allow them to have the tax credits that they usually get and things like that, which is so short-sighted because hotels bring so much revenue. The tax credits you're going to get are going to be outweighed by the revenue you're going to get, but whatever. So Disney said, haha, very funny. We're not going to build a hotel at all anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they totally scrapped the project. I hope the new mayor is very pro-Disney. She even came out to the Run Disney event and said how excited she was that these events are back and for the partnership with Disney. So we may see that hotel come back in the future, especially with the Project 2025. Or Project, what is it called? Project Tomorrowland? What is it called? We talked about it.
I have no idea. All the
I don't remember.
I don't know the actual name of like the projects going on.
Yeah, there's a name for it. I forget what it is, but maybe we'll get another new hotel because 3 is not a lot, which means inventory is limited, and we will get to that in a moment. But first, let's talk about the hotels because we love them. So before we get into like the details of them, Disneyland Hotel is your classic Disney nostalgia with I would say the modern touches. They're not modern. They're modern retro. So like it's like the contemporary, but 70s.
But better. Yeah, better. Way better than the contemporary. Like I love the vibe at Disneyland Hotel, and I'm not a fan of the vibe at contemporary at all.
Yeah. So the Disneyland Hotel, it's not modern, but it's modern, you know. The Grand Californian is craftsman design. It's craftsman style design. And all my Disney aficionados, fun fact, the Animal Kingdom Lodge, Wilderness Lodge, and Disney's Grand Californian were all designed by the same person. And when you walk in,
you can tell.
You can tell. Which isn't a bad thing, but it like
No, it's not, and they all are uniquely their own, even though they are very similar, and you get like the feeling, the vibe. They are still not exactly the same. They are not cookie cutters of each other for sure.
right. And the Grand Californian does have a full service spa on site, which is really nice. And it is the only park resort that has direct access to the Grand California Adventure. So they have their own entrance at the hotel to the park, which
is nice,
amazing.
lovely.
And you tell us about Pixar Place. Just a
So
summary.
Pixar Place is fun, vibrant, family friendly, in your face Pixar theming, and it has a private entrance to Disney California Adventure, but you got to cross the street. We're going to get into that when we talk more about it, but it is just cutesy. So cute, so fun.
And it is over the top Pixar, but it's well done. It's not like
Very Art of
annoying
Animation
in your
or
face.
all-star movies. Like, it is classic, luxury feel a little bit to it with the family-friendly Pixar theming.
Yes. Now, all three of these, fun fact, have club level options, which is very exciting. I will say they're not all created equal. Did you get to see the club level at Pixar Place?
So we were booked club level. Like, that was a club level room that we were in, and they called me about 2 weeks before we checked in, which I had a feeling I was watching the club level, construction and everything. I was like, I don't think it's gonna be open. They called me about 2 weeks before we checked in, and they were like, we're so sorry, you're still gonna have your club level theme park view room, but the club level lounge is not going to be open. They cut my price, gave me a little money back. I was like, that's fine. I'll take the money back, So no, we did not get to experience that. I've heard hit or miss things about club level at Pixar Place because it's run through an outside company. All the dining at Pixar Place is not through actual Disney. So.
And Disney does that a lot. They'll partner with restaurant groups to run their restaurants and such. But same, I've heard mixed reviews about the club level lounge at the Pixar Place. Now, me personally, I don't think I would tell you to stay club level at Pixar Place. I would tell you to stay club level at Disneyland or the Grand Californian. Now, club level at Disneyland is interesting because the club lounge is only in one of the buildings. And there are 3 buildings where you can stay club level, but so that means you have to walk over to the building with the club lounge. I don't like that.
I wouldn't care for that. No, I want my amenities right there where I'm at.
Yeah, and when we stayed club lounge at Disneyland, I was disappointed. The offerings weren't as good. So in my opinion, the Grand Californian is the best club level lounge. Number 1, it has a view of fireworks, and they have a lounge. They have an outdoor seating area where you can see the fireworks. So number 1. Number 2, they have a bartender. Now, it's not a full bar. It's like champagne, wine, beer, but they have a bartender. My problem with Disneyland was I think they had champagne, but you couldn't see who was in charge. So you didn't really know. So that was kind of a bummer. And then the food at the Grand Californian Club Level Lounge was top notch. It was elevated food. Plus they had not for me, but they had an amazing coffee machine.
Oh, sign me up. I've seen videos of the coffee machine, I think, at Grand Californian club levels. And that's me.
Yeah. So if you're going to splurge, Grand Californian is the one to do it at, that club level lounge. Plus, it's a lot closer to all the other parks. So it's a lot easier to take breaks during the day and enjoy the snacks and the offerings because it is, it's all relatively close. But the Grand Californian is connected to California Adventure. So it's like a 3-minute walk versus maybe a 15-minute walk. Yeah. What other room types do we have?
We've got just your standard regular rooms that are going to have resort view, deluxe view, downtown Disney view. You're also, wait, am I talking about all of them or am I talking about just Disneyland? We're talking about, I got off track.
There's also villas at the Disneyland Hotel and the Grand Californian. That's what I was trying to get you to say.
I'm sorry. I was like, I just started talking and I was like, wait a minute, what am I talking about? I tend to do that. I have lots of knowledge, but it just comes out.
So at the Disneyland Hotel, they just opened the villas at Disneyland Hotel. They literally last year they opened it. It's its own, they converted one tower that there used to be 4 towers at Disneyland, but now they have 3, and one of those towers became DVC. They are beautiful. I stayed in a deluxe studio. They are fantastic. So they have a deluxe studio, a 1 and 2 bedroom suite, a grand villa, and they also have a duo. So a duo is the new concept. They also have them at the Riviera. They're really small, but they're a great economic value for your points. So there's that. So there's a whole tower full of DVC rentals up at Disneyland Hotel. The Grand Californian also has DVC, so they'll have the deluxe studio, the 1 and 2 bedrooms, and the grand villa. But inventory is a lot more limited here, so it's a little harder to get those. And I don't see
there's more.
And there's more. Do you want to talk about the specialty suites at the Disneyland Hotel?
I don't know enough about them. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, I don't know enough about them. I would love
So
to hear
these
you
are
talk about them.
super, super rare for you to see them, and they're like very, very expensive. But there's one that's based on Big Thunder Mountain. There's one that's based on Pirates of the Caribbean. There's one that's a fairy tale suite. It's usually for like celebrities or Club 33 members, but they are gigantic, gigantic.
They don't even come up when I search for availability. Like, when you are looking, like, I'm going to look for a client, I'm going to see, they don't ever come up. Like, I don't think I've ever seen one pop up, not one time.
I think I've seen one time, and it was like a super random date, and I'm pretty sure it was in 2021 when people weren't really traveling. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And the Disneyland Hotel also has 2 bedroom standard room options. So it's kind of like connecting rooms, but there's a lot of different configurations at the Disneyland Hotel. And the standard rooms honestly have a lot of space compared to other standard rooms. But the weird thing about the Disneyland Hotel, and unless you've stayed multiple times, you wouldn't know, is the bathrooms aren't all the same configuration.
Oh, really? I feel like we've talked about this.
You and I have. Yeah, we did. But like, you could book a standard view room, and maybe your bathroom is all in one unit. Maybe your bathroom is split in half across a little hallway. Maybe your bathroom has 2 sinks. Maybe it has a sink on one side and a sink on the other. So this hotel was built like a long time ago, and it wasn't a Disney hotel. So it probably has something to do with that, because reconstructing bathrooms is really hard. But it was bizarre. The second time I stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, I was like, I don't think my bathroom was like that. So I took some pictures. And then the third time I stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, I'm like, this is not how my bathroom was last time. It was very confusing.
And it was because, like, that's a big question we get asked a lot is, tell me about the bathroom. Like, people that want to make sure that they're going to have a tub, make sure that they're, the bathroom. We talk about bathrooms a lot because bathrooms matter, so that's crazy that you just kind of don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. The room you do, because you'll get like 2. Well, even that though you don't, because you could.
Well, because you could get the two queens with the sleeper sofa, or a king,
Yeah, so when I'm traveling
on
with my girlfriends, I always call, and I'm like, we are not a couple. Please give us a room with 2 beds.
We are not going to be sleeping in this bed together.
I mean, if I don't have any other choice, obviously we'll share a bed. But if I have a choice, let me call and say, my preference is 2 beds, please.
Yes. Separate us.
So let's talk a little bit more about the Disneyland Hotel. Well, I think we should start with Pixar Place. Let's start with Pixar Place, because price-wise, Pixar Place they call it a value. I 100% disagree, because I don't think I've ever seen the rates at this hotel be less than $400 a night.
As a person who frequents Walt Disney World value hotels a lot, and recently stayed at Pixar Place, it has more to offer than a value resort for sure. Like, I don't, a moderate, I could wrap my head around a moderate for, Pixar. And I think the only thing that would make it a moderate for me and not a deluxe is because you have to cross the street. But I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to get into that. So, like I talked about in the intro with the theming, this hotel has been completely redone from the top to the bottom. And as soon as you walk in, you are greeted with this incredible, Pixar ball. And one of the best things, did you see I put it in all caps on the notes? Bing bong. Bing Bong will meet you. Will does meet and greets periodically.
It is a big deal because it's the only place you can meet him.
Deal. It is a really big deal. And like, you should have heard all of us with the excitement of knowing that we were going to check in and we were going to get to see Bing Bong. But okay, let me go back to just the hotel overview. Back it up. So Grand Californian and Disneyland Hotel are technically on property. Pixar Place is on property, but you have to cross the street. It is just, I wouldn't even consider it a block, but it is slightly off property. But one of the good things about this is the theme park view rooms are incredible because of this, because they're a little bit further back. And we had a theme park view room and we could watch World of Color from the room. It was absolutely amazing. It has an incredible rooftop pool that you can also see the fireworks from. And
I feel like that's an over exaggeration of that pool. That pool is a square with a splash pad.
No, I don't think it's an over exaggeration. We listen and we don't judge. The slide area being themed, of course, to Pixar, and it is themed to the turtles from Finding Nemo. It is a great option for your kids.
It's themed really well, but the pool is a value pool because the slide goes into a slide retention thing. It doesn't go into a pool.
I will agree with you there. I did feel like it was more elevated with the type of loungers and furniture that was available.
Like the fire pits they have are super cute, but it's not a moderate level pool because that pool is tiny.
Because there's just no room. There's no room. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm like, it's not. It is cute. You are 100% correct. That splash pad area is super cute. Having the slide is great, but then the pool itself.
Which if you are used to staying in a hotel in a city, which all of these, hotels really are in a city, which is kind of jarring when you're used to Walt Disney World and you go to Disneyland for the first time. You're like, there's a theme park just right here in the middle of the city. It's a good hotel. I mean, it's a good pool for a hotel in the city. But if you walk across the street and you're actually at Grand Californian and you're at Disneyland and you see what they have done with those pools that are still in hotels in the middle of a city. Yes.
That's my point. Like you go across the street and then you're like, oh,
I could have had this. Like I could have been eating at this pool restaurant. Like, okay.
Yeah. But it's good theming. I am totally on board with that. I agree. Yes.
One of the other things that I did not care for as much with Pixar Place is there was not enough dining options for me. When you are at Disneyland Hotel and you're at the Grand Californian, you literally are steps away from downtown Disney, so you can go grab something. We were a little bit further away, and there's only one quick service that didn't even really have like your standard quick service fare. It had great food. The food was really good, but it was just kind of different. And then they had the Great Maple, which is the table service restaurant that was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, but I don't want to eat at the same table service restaurant every time I'm hungry.
I think is why it's like a value moderate. Because it doesn't, like a value resort only has a food court, and then a moderate resort has a food court and a sit down. It's like a hybrid, but the price point just makes me mad.
Yes, agree. Yeah, agree. Especially the year that it opened when it was pricing higher than Disneyland Hotel. I was like, okay, we're doing it. We're doing this. But that was just demand. Pricing has come back down now to where it is still pricing the lowest now.
Air quotes. The lowest. So, I mean, we do like Pixar Place. It is cute.
I would stay there again.
Well, I was about to say, give us your feedback on the rooms because you had some very specific feedback there, which the rooms are cute. They are very clean. They're modern. They're great. But there is a very specific feedback you had.
We were 3 grown women in this room, and it slept us so comfortably. It had the 2 queen beds and the sleeper sofa. And I always have to point this out to people that the sleeper sofa is not a sleeper sofa. It is a real bed. It flips over into a bed that sleeps an adult very comfortably. Very nice bedding.
Two smaller kids for sure.
Yeah. And so The only problem I had was the bathroom configuration. It was hard for all of us to get ready in the morning. There was one sink and everything was in one room, and the shower door was glass. And I'm not a shy person. If somebody wants to come in and get ready while I'm showering, that's fine, but not when the shower is glass. You're not going to see my entire business while you're flat ironing your hair. And
And
so
what you think, I think about it, and like a lot of traditional hotels are that way. And this hotel, when you shared your video, it definitely gave me like regular hotel vibes in the setup of it. And we just get so spoiled with Disney keeping families in mind that it is kind of jarring that everything is in one room and there's no separation, which sounds silly. Like even the toilet was in there.
I even think about because I am actively planning a trip to Disneyland for my kids because they have not been yet. And I'm like, my son, he's about to be 11. He does not want me in there while he's showering. My 8-year-old girl, she's not going to care, but I mean, there's just things you have to think about when you're thinking about a functional hotel that you're going to be spending several days in.
Right.
So,
Anything else you want to say about the Pixar place?
No, other than that, I loved it. The only thing I didn't like was having to cross the street, which, like I said, it was just it. I am very much a Disney bubble person. I am not an off-property person at all. And even though it's technically on property for half a minute, like we were leaving at about 11 o'clock from the parks, and I was like, just on a street in Anaheim. Like I had like this, then I was like, oh, I'm at the hotel now. So.
Yeah, and well, we just kind of jumped into that without reminding, because not everybody knows about Disneyland. So Disneyland is really small. So the footprint of Disneyland, it's really small. So when she says cross the street, it is a protected 4-way. It's a 4-lane road, so it's not like a giant intersection or a highway or anything like that. It is like quote unquote residential roads, but it is protected. It's a crosswalk. It is not scary.
No, it's not scary whatsoever.
But no,
it was
but
just
your point. You are still doing it. But when you say cross the street, it's I don't know. People just don't realize how small Disneyland is, and it's impossible to have everything at Anaheim in that cone of Disney.
Yeah, especially because you have to think that this city grew up around Disney. Disneyland Park was the first thing there, and then the city grew around it, and so now as they're trying to expand, they're like, we can't go anywhere because the city grew around us.
Yeah.
Which was the whole point of Walt saying, we're going to Orlando to build this giant,
and we're going to buy everything. Give me all the land.
But just to make sure that 50 years from now, if we want land, we already have it.
Yeah.
We love Walt for his foresight.
Yes.
We needed that.
Yes. So yes, you do cross the street, but when you get to Disneyland, when you drive up, you'll be like, oh, okay.
I get it. Want to point this out that I do think that the Pixar Place private entrance to DCA is a better entrance than Grand Californian. I think where it spits you out right there in front of Pixar Pier is better for early entry, because you can quickly get to Pixar Pier if you want to. Oh my gosh, Avengers Campus or Cars Land. I think it's more functional. It's a better
entrance because regular guests can't get in there. Regular guests can get in to the other ones, and then you're in a holding cell with other people. Holding cell, sorry. But if you're in Pixar Place's entrance, then yeah, it is for early entry. And honestly, it's also great for exiting, because once you're done with World of Color, boom, it's right there. So yeah, I'd agree with you on that too.
Yeah, I like that one. So, okay.
So the Disneyland Hotel has it's kind of a weird layout, to be honest with you. So it has a couple towers. So in the main building is the Fantasy Tower, and then you've got the Adventure Tower and the Frontier Tower. So these are themed after the land. So there's like a Dumbo and stuff. There's a little, oh my God, diorama of Big Thunder Mountain and the Frontier one. So they're all themed. They're really cute, but all the rooms are the same. And my love of mahogany.
Oh, another podcast, talk about mahogany.
I mean, but it is. So the rooms themselves have gotten refreshed many, many times. They've got this beautiful blue carpet, but it has the horrible mahogany everywhere. But I'm not going to hate on it so much because it has a light up castle headboard that plays When You Wish Upon a Star with pixie dust and magic. So that I'll excuse because mahogany looks great when it's carved with a castle in it. They have room service available, and don't look at the room service prices because you will crap your pants when you see they're charging $50 for a plate of gnocchi. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So those are the towers. They're all individually themed. So all room types are in all the towers. So you don't know what tower you're going to be in. I like the Adventure Tower because it's closest to the park, the entrance to downtown Disney. But the Fantasyland Tower obviously is in the main building. So, there's pros and cons to each. It has Disney decor everywhere. It's Disney touches everywhere. In the convention center area, they even have like a wall of Disney history, which is pretty cool. They have cast members that have contributed to it over the years. You'll see old name tags. It's really cute. But where the Disneyland Hotel shines is number one, the pool. It's got the monorail pool.
Love
it. Super cute.
That whole courtyard square of the pool with Trader Sam's, we literally just spent hours just hanging out on the nice patio furniture, just enjoying the vibes. Like, if you like vibes, you will love the Disneyland Hotel.
Yes, the Disneyland Hotel is definitely vibes. And the monorail pool they have, it's a monorail water slide. It's an e-ticket. It's super fun. It's a big pool, lots of space, A+. They also have a new pool over at the villas for the Disneyland Hotel. It's a little bit more basic, but they have a splash pad over there. You didn't list it here, but they have a restaurant over there too. So there's a pool bar restaurant over at the villas at Disneyland Hotel. They also have Goofy's Kitchen, which is a super fun character buffet. I would compare it to Chef Mickey's.
Yes, very much Chef Mickey's.
Yes. But the characters are fun. It's Goofy, Minnie, Chip and Dale, and Pluto.
Clarabelle. I know that Clarabelle.
Well, she wasn't there when we were there.
Well, I think it's like the majority of Disneyland dining where it's kind of a hodgepodge. But I know that Clarabelle was there when we were there in May because Goofy and Clarabelle were coming out and doing meet and greets in front of the entrance to Goofy's Kitchen, and so I met them there.
Well, it's Goofy for sure.
Goofy is the one you can
for sure.
Put your money on.
Other characters, don't ask us because it could be a surprise. But so Goofy's Kitchen is there. They just opened a bar. It's Sleeping Beauty themed. I'm annoyed because it took the place of Steakhouse 51, and Steakhouse 51 was amazing and had a fantastic afternoon tea. I haven't been to this new bar. It looks interesting. I'll check it out, but I'm still mad about Steakhouse 51.
Why do they keep taking away all of our tea services? I mean,
don't get me started on the Grand Floridian. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
They also have a coffee shop in there that is really good, and they have Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar, which is the original Trader Sam's. It is tiny though. It is tiny.
But it's worth it.
So it's worth it, but it is really, really hard to get dining reservations for. So the amount of times it's hit or miss if I can get my clients reservations here, because it's not like at Walt Disney World where it's 60 days plus the length of your stay. It's 60 days out, and it's hit or miss because it is so small. But it also is connected to Tongora Terrace. I'm totally
something like that.
Yeah, but it's a quick service location. You can get the same drinks there as you can in Trader Sam's. You're not going to get the same interaction, but you can get the same drinks. And it has a beautiful patio area that's really, really well done, super tropical. So lots of great food at the Disneyland Hotel. The original Trader Sam's, it's full of history, and it's right on the back edge of the downtown Disney. So you just walk a couple feet and you're in downtown Disney. Walk a couple feet more, and you're at the monorail that takes you directly into Tomorrowland.
And I don't like the monorail at Walt Disney World. This is not a secret. The monorail at Disneyland is clean and nice and not stinky. And I don't understand why they have an elite monorail and we can't get something like I don't understand it, but I love the monorail.
I don't like the monorail at Disneyland for one reason and one reason only. It doesn't go as frequently. So you could be sitting around waiting for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that is true. And like I said, I think that most people use the monorail for vibes and not for transportation. Yeah. It's vibes. A lot of things about Disneyland in general are just vibes.
It's just vibes. Yeah. So that's a lot. That's a lot of the Disneyland Hotel. But they have tons of food options. It's super cute, super nostalgic. It's I would say moderate deluxe. Like we said, the Pixar place is value moderate. This one's going to be moderate deluxe. And then the Grand Californian is going to be our deluxe. Do you want to tell us about the Grand Californian?
So the Grand Californian is kind of in the center of it all. The balconies have mostly views into downtown Disney, and they have theme park views, correct? There are some that are theme park views.
No, downtown Disney views.
It's only downtown Disney. Okay. So lots of that craftsman architecture, like we have talked about. The lobby is ginormous. Okay. So the lobby is very similar to the lobbies that you would be used to at a deluxe Disney hotel at Walt Disney World, where you have all the seating areas. You made a face.
Well, not all deluxe resorts at Walt Disney World have big lobbies, but Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge and Grand Floridian do.
That's what I meant. I saw you make the face, and I'm like, she's. Yeah.
Because I immediately thought of the boardwalk, and I'm like, that lobby.
There's no a beach club. There's no. I'm like, but if you understand what I'm talking about, the big giant lobbies that you can have, just time to sit and just take in the ambiance. That is very much how Grand Californian is. They have a beautiful pool. It is stunning with all these beautiful yellow roses. I love the yellow roses all around, and just this expert what's the word?
Horticulture?
What I was going to use, but it works.
The plant stuff. Is that where you're learning that?
Plants, yes, because the plants, not even on the front side and all around the pool. I just thought that the landscaping, that was the word I was looking for. Landscaping was phenomenal. Like it really elevated the resort to where they have taken such detail with not only the inside but the outside of the resort.
Disney does a great job with horticulture, no matter where you are, because it adds to the ambiance. Could you just imagine if they didn't think of that, and then you go out to the pool and you're like, what the heck?
What is this? Like, what's happening here? One
thing you can rely on. Disney is going to bring it in that aspect.
It stood out to me at the Grand Californian. Like it's excellent everywhere, but I don't know. There was just something about it.
Because I think they've brought in, I don't know if they brought in redwoods, but they have very specific trees there too that lend to the woodsman vibes. But then you're at Disneyland Hotel and they've got tropical stuff because they've got Trader Sam's. So it's very intentionally thought out. So yes, it just extends that vibe. You forgot to mention the fireplace.
I was getting there. And so they have this huge fireplace, and there was wood carvings, correct? Is it? Oh man.
I don't think so. I think it's just stone.
It's stone. Okay, I'm sorry, because literally it's very similar to
yes. But it's this huge roaring fireplace, and when we were there, it was kind of cold, wasn't it?
It was a little cold, but I also remember we were there for Star Wars season, and so there was an actual huge Millennium Falcon made out of chocolate over there by that fireplace.
Yes, they also they'll do a gingerbread display, which is really well done, and then they'll sell gingerbread there too. So yeah, the Grand California is a beautiful hotel. And like I said, they have a spa. Fun fact about the spa, because you might
Have
not
you
know
been?
this. I haven't been to the spa, but what I was about to say was they have really cool activities. So they have yoga in the park, power walking
Oh,
in the park, strength training in the park. And the fitness instructor, if it's still the same one, she is amazing, feisty little woman. And you can't take pictures because it is during the time where, like, not renovations is the wrong word, but they're just like cleaning up the park and touching things up.
oh, okay.
So yeah, you
Mhm.
can't take pictures while you're there, but you can do all these fun fitness activities at California Adventure.
I had no idea. That
Yeah.
is really cool.
And it's like
That is really,
25
really
bucks.
cool.
It's really inexpensive. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
super early in the morning because it's before the park opens, but it's
Mhm.
really fun.
Well, I mean, who like, it's kind of like the yoga with the marathons. Like, it's cool to just be like, oh yeah, I did yoga in the
Yeah.
parks one time. You know,
Yeah.
um, Grand Californian has a private entrance into downtown Disney, and it also has a private entrance directly into um, DCA, Disney California Adventure. I will tell you, I did not stay there. We stayed at Pixar, but I did feel like that is a kind of a con for the Grand Californian. And hear me out, because it was very busy in the lobby and in those entrances, because I feel like there was a lot of people coming in specifically to use the entrance into downtown Disney. And I don't know, it just felt like it was crowded a lot of the time in the lobby. Do you understand? Do you feel like
No, I understand what you're saying, and I wouldn't disagree. It's like, staying at the Grand Floridian in at Walt Disney World. It's the same thing, but I wouldn't say I was ever impacted getting into the parks though.
no, 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 it's
Yeah.
still very fast. It's just, it's kind of like, it feels very peoply in the lobby, and a lot
Yeah,
like the Grand
it's
Floridian,
not
where
a
people are coming in to look at the lobby. People are coming in to, that are not staying at the hotel itself.
it's not a game changer con. It's just like a
Yeah.
con. Yeah.
FYI, be aware of this.
Yeah.
But there is Napa Rose for dining, there, which has the princess. It's a tea, princess tea.
No, the Princess Adventure Breakfast, and it's only
You've
on
done it.
specific days,
Hmm. Yeah,
which is
I know you.
it's like, yeah, it's like Thursday through Monday. It's like really weird.
Mhm.
It's very expensive, but
Very.
you meet like 9 princesses.
That's an incredible amount of princesses.
Yes, and
That
it's a
is
lot of food,
crazy.
and the food is good. Like when you walk in, you meet Rapunzel. Then like 4 princesses come to your table. Then you do story time with Mulan. You learn how to do stuff, whatever. You just do something with Pocahontas, and then when you leave, you meet Ariel. This could have
Like
changed.
activities.
Yeah, but you
That's
have
awesome.
activities, an activity with Mulan, an activity with Pocahontas, and then you leave, and there's another princess. So it's like so many because there's
So
no other character dining is really limited at at
mm,
Disneyland.
yeah,
So this is the only princess opportunity, and it's a gigantic opportunity.
and it sounds like it takes a long time. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah.
Like, you probably wouldn't want to do this on a park day.
Well, you could just know that it's going to take
Mm.
probably an hour and a half at the
Okay.
least.
There's also Storytellers Cafe, which is a sit-down restaurant in the morning and in the brunch time. It does have characters.
It's not a sit down;
Uh,
it's a buffet.
is all
I mean,
you
you
make the
sit
face you
down,
did.
but it's a buffet.
Yeah, it's a buffet.
Characters are available at breakfast and brunch.
Yes,
They're
breakfast and
not
brunch.
available at dinner.
Not at all. No characters at dinner. And this is pretty standard too. Like, you're gonna know which characters you're gonna get for this one. It's gonna be Mickey, Minnie, um,
Pluto.
Donald, Chip and Dale,
Pluto.
Pluto. Hmm.
No
No,
Donald.
no Donald. Yeah. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, who did we see? But
No,
those
I
do
know. It's
not
like you
count.
got to do the roll call in your head. Yeah, but the
Mhm.
buffet's really good, and you can order some stuff off the menu. They do have also a menu, but it is largely a buffet, and
It
it's
was good.
really well done.
Hmm.
And the last place is they also have like a lounge. So this hits with all the deluxe resorts. They have a lot of dining options. Um, the GCH Craftsman Grill is kind of technically their pool bar.
That was so funny to me, because when we went to Disneyland, Rachel picked where we were going to eat for this one reservation. She was like, "This, we're doing this one." And I didn't really look into it. I was like, oh, GCH Craftsman Bar. I was thinking it was going to be like an actual like bar with like a lot of woodwork and stonework. And then we show up and I'm like, we're at the pool. Like, this is awesome. Like, I enjoy this.
Yeah, because it's, it's those great vibes, and it was a little expensive in my opinion, and the food was kind of all over the place.
Yes. I did enjoy what I had. I think I had that giant quesadilla. And it was good, but I know that some people did not enjoy what they had.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think not enjoyed. I think it was just like fine because a lot of people got the pizza. My sister really liked her nachos. I had a salad that was fine. It's fine.
The quesadilla was good. Like, but would I go back? Probably not,
Yeah, I think our experience is also tainted because our server was not great.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true. And you always need a good server. No.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm waiting for my dog to react.
Oh, because you're getting packages? Like,
no, because there was a man out there walking it. There he is. Hold on. There's a man outside walking a dog. Hey! Paula.
Hey, how long did you say this will record for? Because we're at 42.
What?
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 Don't we have a time limit on the recording and you have to start it over? We're at 42.
An hour.
Okay.
It's an hour.
I couldn't remember if you said, I felt like you had said 45 minutes, so let's check him.
Well, we're almost done anyway.
I know.
Okay. I'm going to give this to myself so I know where to pick back up. Well, those are all the resorts. A little more in depth than we were planning, but that's fine. That's how we always roll. So
you like talking about them.
I know. So where should you stay? I'm going to flip-flop that. I think we both agree on this, that families, the Disneyland Hotel and Pixar Place are great. I didn't say this with the Grand Californian, but the Grand Californian, I feel like the rooms are a little lackluster.
It's not my vibe at all. Like,
and it's upsetting because the resort is beautiful and the rooms just feel a little too basic for the price point. So, but it's nice. The sink area is separated from the toilet and the shower. So like, that's good. The rooms are a decent size. But when I walked in, I will tell you, because I've stayed at the two of them. I stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and the Grand Californian. I thought the rooms were nicer at the Disneyland Hotel. So
I agree. I haven't stayed at Grand Californian, but I have seen videos and have had people stay there that I know, and I just don't think they need to judge it up a little bit.
That goes into why we think the Disneyland Hotel and Pixar Place are best for families, because Disneyland Hotel, the rooms are very big. They're nice size rooms. They have the setup bathrooms. The vibes are great. And Pixar Place, the vibes are great. But the Grand Californian, like we mentioned at the top, has the best concierge lounge. So our sophisticated travelers are travelers who like to enjoy club level amenities or just have a resort that has all the great amenities on site. Yeah, that's the Grand Californian. And also the Grand Californian also has the best location.
It does. It does. It's right there in the middle of everything. Like, you are not far from anything when you are at the Grand Californian.
And then we both agree, if you just want that classic Disney feel, it's the Disneyland Hotel all the way.
It's fantastic.
Just even the carpet walking into the lobby, you're like, oh, I got the 1950s vibes. Soak it in.
Like, if you are sitting at home listening to this and you're like, I've always wanted to go to Disneyland because I want that classic, this is where Walt was, it's Disneyland Hotel. There is no other option for us to send you but Disneyland Hotel. Yeah,
hard stop. That's where you're going to want to go. Now, pros of staying on site, aka why you should stay on site. In case it wasn't abundantly clear, the proximity to the parks.
Right there. You are right there in the magic.
Yeah, especially the Grand Californian, because like we said, it has the dedicated entrance, but then also to get to Disneyland, the exit that takes you to downtown Disney, it's in between Sephora, which is like a 3-minute walk from the entrance to Disneyland. So it's right there. Now, Pixar Place, it is a little further of a walk. We're just going to be honest about that to get to the Disneyland park. But to get to Pixar Place, it's like, how many, what did you say, 5-minute walk?
Oh, it's less than that. Like you are literally like when I say it's not even like you just crossed an intersection and you are right there. Like it's so I mean, it's shorter than the walk from Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom for sure. Like by half. Like it is so short.
It's shorter than the walk from the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, it is.
For sure. And then, okay, so you didn't mention, this isn't important to a lot of people, but it's important to me.
What is it?
You can still get package delivery if you stay on site.
Okay, not gonna lie, that was like I was putting this together and I got distracted, but like that just got forgotten because yes, you can still get package delivery.
It's such a big deal to me. Like I don't want to carry my stuff around.
And no, we have talked about this so many times, and I talk about it on TikTok Live all the time. But I am so aggravated that Walt Disney World has not brought that perk back because as now a person who doesn't have a stroller anymore, my stroller was my shopping cart, and I need that service to come back ASAP. And
I 100% buy less because I don't have that.
Exactly. Yeah, like I wanted that Spaceship Earth cookie jar that they had at Epcot a couple of years ago. And my husband and I, we had a couple of drinks, Epcot, no kids. And we're like, we're not carrying this, but we absolutely would have bought that cookie jar if I could have sent it back to the room.
So they still have it at Disneyland, which is a game changer. Now their early entry works a little bit differently. It's not every park every day or both parks every day.
Yes.
So it works a little bit differently, but they do still have early entry. And as both of us can attest as early entry users, it is a game changer.
I have a very funny video posted on the socials of the crowd of people headed towards Cars Land because we had done early entry and we had already knocked out everything in Adventures Campus. And we were going to do Radiator Springs Racers later that day, but we were happened to just be walking and it's just this wall of people coming towards us. And we just like got back and I recorded. I was like, oh, wow. Wow.
So early entry, really, really big deal. But it's also, we are, you and I feel the same way about this. There's a lot to be said about staying inside the Disney bubble.
Love the bubble. I don't ever want to leave the bubble. Like I want to be there. Well,
and as a hospitality professional, I've worked in hotels. The way you feel and the way you're treated at a Disney resort is different than the way you're treated at a regular hotel. And that, no shade on the regular hotels. It's just like to say they don't care, like that's really mean, but like they don't.
It's just that Disney
a different level.
Yes, and it's very hard to put into words what the Disney difference is until you have experienced it. If you are watching this and you've never been to either Disney World, Disneyland, you don't really know that it's just people are happy to talk to you. They're happy to do their job because they are just as happy that you were there and experiencing the magic as you are. And, other people in other hotels, they are nice and they are polite, but they are just, they're not happy you're there. They don't care if you're there or not.
It's so weird because hospitality is hospitality, but you'll notice it when you stay, like, even if you just stay at Walt Disney World and you go to Universal, you'll notice it.
Oh, and we talked about this when we have talked about Royal Caribbean, and there's nothing wrong with the service on Royal Caribbean. We have gone on Royal Caribbean and we have had a wonderful time, but it's just there's something missing, and it's that Disney difference.
And it's not because I'm brainwashed Disney. This is my industry. I worked in hotels for years and years and years. It just is the way it is, and I love being in the Disney bubble. So. I love that customer service, but we would be remiss if we didn't actually acknowledge that there are cons.
Yes.
And number one, I'm going to say, is the price point.
Absolutely.
Almost consistently, an on-site resort is going to be double what an off-site resort is going to be.
Especially if you are a larger family. If you are needing one of those suites and things like that, a lot of times we're going to have to look at some of the good neighbors, which we do know the great good neighbors. Like we have toured them, we have tested them, all the things. Like we know where to send you if your budget is not going to allow you to be on property at Disneyland. Yeah.
The Westin Anaheim.
It's a good one.
Girl, sleeper
Beautiful.
hit. That price, the price point plus. Anyway, we know the good neighbor hotels. So that, so with that high price point, with the only having 3 hotels, it also has limited availability because there's only 3 hotels. And then tell us your con specifically for Pixar Place. And we've said it like 5 times already, but let's say it again.
Like 5 times. Like we did kind of talk about cons with each one of the hotels, but like it's not on property, y'all. It is on property, but it's not on property. Like, and I just wish that I didn't have to walk across that intersection. It's so silly. It's so silly. But like I've never experienced anything like that at Disney or at Universal, you know, where I'm like, oh, this is a main street. Like I'm just on here. So
but whatever you choose, that's what Katie and I are here to help with. We have these conversations with our clients. Like, what's important to you? Do you want to stay in the Disney bubble? Do you want that experience, or do you want to try a good neighbor hotel where you have to walk and you have a couple of these drawbacks, which some of them, you know, they're pretty big drawbacks, but what's important to you? That's one of the reasons you work with a travel professional, because we know all this stuff. You don't know all this stuff, and Facebook are going to tell you all kinds of
you don't know what you don't know. You know, you don't know what you need to be, what questions you need to be asking and what you need to be looking for.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily know all your options, so that's what we're here for. And we love Disneyland. When people ask me all the time, especially with the smaller kids, which one should I do first, and I always say Disneyland, because Disneyland's just easier.
It is easier. It's so much easier.
And it does, like, oh my, we were talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, I want to go back to Disneyland right now, because like I can feel the magic seeping into my bones. There's just something special about Disneyland.
And right now it's not currently on my 2025 plan. Like I'm sure you've got one booked for 2025.
At least one. I may have finagled 2.
I don't have one, so I'm gonna have to sit and play and see if I can figure out how to get over here with all the other travel we have planned.
I need it in my bones. I'm not going until November, so I might have to swing one in the summertime just because I need it.
Well, I asked the kids this week actually, like, what would y'all like for your surprise Christmas vacation next year? And overwhelmingly, it was Disneyland. That's what they said. They're like Disneyland. So we'll see.
Kids know what's up. They do know what's up. So when you're ready to book your Disneyland vacation, hit me or Katie up. We are passionate about it and would love to get your package set up correctly. So alonzi-travel.com/take-the-trip, or our socials are always in the show notes for each of us. You can always reach out to us on any of those platforms. Until then, happy holidays, and we will be back in the new year.
Bye.
Bye.